Chicago, wake up. There's something toxic in Hollis Hall, and they don't want you to know. First alert, a rookie defender with a phantom injury that could wreck the draft. Hidden fractures, months of silence. Were we blind to a disastrous medical error? Second bombshell. The left tackle just admitted defeat against a 6'8" monster ready to take his spot. If I don't look good, and that's it. Words from a man who knows he's finished. But hold tight, an anonymous quarterback is forcing Poles into a brutal move. Sell now for capital or risk the roster's future. 3 crises, 1 truth. No one is safe. This isn't a camp. It's a purge. Who will fall first? Subscribe before they censor this video. Like if you demand answers, and comment bear down if you're ready for war. Blood's gonna run in Lake Forest. Chicago is living a silent revolution, and you haven't noticed. While you all look the other way, Ryan Poles has been moving pieces on the board that will change everything we thought we knew about these Bears. I tell you this, when an organization stays silent about something as basic as an injury, there's much more going on behind the curtain. And you know what really worries me? The situation with Shimar Turner, our second-round pick, is a total mystery that smells like serious trouble. Turner has been out since July 23rd with an ankle injury, and the Bears have been quieter than a confessional. Brad Biggs reported we could be talking about at least 4 weeks out, which means this guy is going to miss the entire preseason. But do you think it's just a regular ankle injury? Here's where things really get concerning, brothers. Remember, Turner had to have a rod inserted in his leg last year at Texas A&M. That problem never fully healed during his final season with the Aggies. The kid played the entire 2024 season with a stress fracture in the shin that never properly healed. I ask you, is it a coincidence we now have an ankle injury just as he should be establishing himself as our defensive tackle of the future? I believe this is directly connected to that stress fracture that kept him out of the NFL Combine in February and forced him to skip the Senior Bowl in January. The reality is Turner came to the OTAs out of shape, undoubtedly because he needed time to rehab that problematic shin. He participated in Texas A&M's pro day before the draft, but he clearly wasn't at 100%. And now we have this new injury the organization refuses to discuss in detail. I tell you this, when a second-round pick shows up to OTAs, out of shape, and is now dealing with mysterious physical issues, it tells me Poles knew exactly the risks he was taking. The question is whether he bet correctly, or if we're seeing the start of a medical nightmare that could sink one of our most important picks. Do you understand what it means to lose 4 weeks in your rookie season? Turner isn't going to have a chance to show what he can do in preseason. He won't develop chemistry with his defensive line mates, and he'll hit the regular season completely cold. For a kid who already came with medical red flags, this is exactly the scenario we didn't want to see. If that makes you nervous, just wait to hear what's happening with our left tackle. Braxton Jones, the left tackle we once thought was the long-term solution on our offensive line, is now fighting for his professional life. And he admitted it in the most raw way possible. Last season was a disaster for Jones. He played only 12 games before ending on injured reserve with a fibula fracture that required surgery. But do you know what really hurts? In the last 2 years, Jones has appeared in only 23 out of 34 possible games. That's not the kind of availability you can afford from your left tackle protecting your franchise quarterback. And do you know what Poles did in response to Jones's inconsistency? He selected Ozzie Trapilo in the second round of the draft, a 6'8" giant who is basically a direct threat to Jones' future in Chicago. This wasn't Poles adding depth. This was Poles sending a clear message that patience is running out. Trapilo isn't a project pick or a backup in development. He's an NFL-ready tackle who can start immediately if Jones can't stay healthy. And do you know what that means for a player like Jones whose contract expires at the end of 2025? It means this could be his last chance. When asked about his situation, Jones couldn't hide the pressure he feels. I quote him directly and pay attention to every word. I think the most important thing has been getting to 100% health and being able to show what I can do and what I've always been able to do. If I don't get out there and don't look good with the injury, that's it. I have to trust myself in that and keep working. Believe me, that's definitely in the back of my mind too. Did you hear that? A player publicly admitting he knows he's in trouble. Jones fully understands that if he can't prove he's completely healthy and can play at the level he showed in his rookie season, Trapilo is going to take his place. Let's remember that Jones was a surprise when he was selected in the 5th round of the 2022 draft from Southern Utah. No one expected him to start all 17 games in his rookie season, but he did, and it was impressive. He showed solid technique, natural athleticism, and the mentality to protect the blind side. But injuries have been his Achilles heel. Not just last year's fibula fracture, but minor issues that have kept him off the field at critical moments. In the NFL, availability is the best ability, and Jones hasn't been able to demonstrate it consistently. I believe Jones understands exactly what's at stake. He has appeared in only 23 games over the last 2 years, and his contract expires at the end of 2025. Polls didn't spend a second-round pick on Trapilo for him to be a luxury backup waiting in the shadows. I ask you, do you really think Jones is going to survive this competition if he can't stay healthy for a full season? The reality is Chicago can't afford to keep betting on a left tackle who can't complete a season. Williams needs consistent protection, and if Jones can't provide it, Trapilo is there waiting for his opportunity. What makes this situation even more interesting is that now we have Ben Johnson as head coach. Johnson knows exactly what he needs from his offensive line for his system to work. If Jones doesn't fit into that vision or can't stay healthy to execute it, there won't be any sentimentality. This is pure navy and orange. Only the strongest survive, and Jones knows it. But here comes the really crazy part, because while Jones fights to keep his job, we have a quarterback who has gone from being a Cinderella story to becoming a potential trade chip that could shake up the entire league. Tyson Bagent is becoming a legitimate trade option, and no one is talking about it. The guy who came from Shepherd University as a nobody is now making teams across the NFL turn to look at him with serious interest. I tell you this, I've been following the camp reports closely, and Bagent isn't just competing with Case Keenum for the backup spot, he's completely dominating. He's been consistently connecting with J.P. Richardson, the undrafted receiver, also fighting for a roster spot. That chemistry isn't accidental. It's the result of extra hours of work Bagent is putting in. But it doesn't stop there. He's been throwing spectacularly to veterans like Olamide Zacchaeus and rookie Luther Burden III, and most impressively, he's showing mastery of Ben Johnson's playbook. Some reports suggest he's as comfortable with the system as Williams himself. Here's where it gets really interesting. Case Keenum, a veteran with experience in a conference championship game, was supposed to be the obvious backup behind Williams. Bagent was supposed to return to the practice squad as he had before. But Bagent is giving Keenum a real run for his money, and that has caught the attention of scouts from other teams. Do you understand how crazy this is? An undrafted division. Chewy quarterback is outperforming an NFL veteran in his 3rd year in the league. Let's remember Bagent's journey. He came from Shepherd University, a Division II school most casual fans probably never heard of. His debut against the Raiders was near perfect. He looked like a veteran handling pressure and making smart decisions, but then came the struggles. His last starts of the rookie season were tough, which was understandable. He went from playing Colorado School of Mines to facing the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Plus, like Williams and Fields before him, he was working under an incompetent coaching staff that didn't maximize his potential. But now we have Ben Johnson, and that changes everything for Bagent. Johnson has a track record of developing quarterbacks and maximizing their strengths. Camp reports suggest Bagent is flourishing under this new system in a way we haven't seen before. And you know what's the craziest part about all this? After 2 years, 4 starts, and surpassing all expectations multiple times, we now have NFL teams starting to make informal calls inquiring about his availability. I ask you, when was the last time the Bears had so much quarterback depth that they could consider trading one? I think this is exactly the kind of problem we want to have. Bagent's trade value obviously isn't going to be massive. We're talking mid to late round picks. But for a guy who was completely unknown 3 years ago, that represents incredible talent development by the organization. Now, let's be realistic about the limitations. Bagent's last starts in his rookie season left much to be desired. The tape is what it is, and that will limit what teams would be willing to offer in a potential trade. But here's where a strong preseason becomes important. If Bagent can show In real games that he's developed consistency and can handle different game situations, it could completely change Scouts' perception across the league. From a roster management perspective, the situation is perfect for Chicago. Williams is our undeniable future. Keenum provides veteran experience, playoff knowledge, and system familiarity, and Bagan has become a tradable asset that could bring us additional capital to strengthen other areas of the roster. And do you know why this is great for Chicago? Because it shows we finally have an organization that develops talent and maximizes value instead of wasting opportunities. If Poles is going to move Bagant, the timeline is critical. He needs Bagan to have a strong preseason to maximize his trade value. The first 2 weeks of the preseason will be crucial in determining if there's a real market for his services. Some teams are already dealing with quarterback issues, injuries, poor performance, or simply the need for depth could create opportunities for Bagan to find a new home where he has a chance to compete for a more significant role. Chicago doesn't play around, brothers. After years of watching this organization waste opportunities and make questionable decisions, we finally have a GM who understands how to build a complete roster the right way. Between Turner's mystery that could reveal deeper problems with our medical evaluation processes, Jones fighting for his career and publicly admitting the pressure he feels, and Bagan becoming an unexpected trade piece, these bears are showing us that patience and strategy go hand in hand. Each of these situations tells us something different about the franchise's direction. Turner shows us Poles is willing to take calculated risks in the draft, but also that we need to be prepared for the consequences when those risks don't pan out as expected. Jones shows us that in this new era, no one has a guaranteed job no matter how they got here. If you can't stay healthy and produce, there's someone else waiting for your opportunity. And Bagan represents exactly what we want to see. Talent development, asset maximization, and the creation of good problems that let us improve other roster areas. The upcoming weeks are going to be critical to determining how these three situations develop. Is Turner going to come back healthy and ready to contribute, or are we going to find out there are more serious issues than we thought? Can Jones stay healthy and reclaim his role, or is Trapilo going to take control of the left tackle position? And what about Bagan? Will he continue to impress enough to create a real trade market? These are the questions that are going to define what our roster looks like when the regular season starts, and frankly, it's exciting to have this kind of competition and depth instead of the same old problems. What do you think about Turner? Is it just normal medical caution? Or is there something more serious the organization isn't telling us? Does Jones deserve another chance to prove he can stay healthy? Or is it time to turn the page to Trapilo in the future? And what about Bagan? Would you trade him for the right pick or keep him as valuable insurance behind Williams? Leave me your answers in the comments, because this is the kind of deep debate that makes our community great. If you agree with my analysis of Jones' complicated situation and how he's handling the pressure, like this video. If you think Bagan should stay in Chicago as part of our future, subscribe to the channel for more analysis like this. And if you want to be part of this family that lives and breathes navy and orange every day, that subscribe button is waiting for you. Because I guarantee tomorrow we'll have more explosive news, and you can't miss what's coming for Chicago. This city deserves a winning team, and we finally have an organization that understands that and is willing to make the tough decisions to get us there. See you in the next video, Bear Down Chicago. And remember, on this channel, the truth always comes first, no matter how uncomfortable it is.